Hi, I'm going to show you how to create your sample of the net bound seam. So this seam technique is where you use strips of netting or tulle and you apply those over the seam allowance like you would bias binding to cover the edge, the seam allowance. So this sample that I've used quite a fine tulle, so it's quite a soft finish, and this is an ideal way to finish seams of fabrics such as velvet or chiffon or other delicate fabrics which fray easily and don't necessarily hold an edge finish that easily. I've already made my seam and I'm using a red corduroy fabric, so I've sewn 1.5 centimetres in from the edge and then I've pressed the seam allowance open. So if you are using a corduroy any time, just make sure that you've got the correct nap, so that the nap direction is laying in the same way on both sides. So I have also cut some strips of tulle. So this is a fine net fabric and these strips are about 1 centimetre wide, and I've just pressed them in the centre, and I'm going to then wrap that over the edge. So when you come to pressing your strips of net or tulle, just be careful with the iron and use a low heat because they have a tendency to melt. So I'm going to just wrap that over the edge. If you slightly off centre when you press it, then you can put the wider piece underneath and that will make sure that when you stitch through the net you do stitch and catch both edges. So I'll just lay that over the edge and pin that in place. I'm going to pin, placing the pins this way just because the net is quite fine and it's easier to place the pins so that they are parallel to the edge rather than perpendicular, which I would usually do. I'm going to pin the other side as well while I'm there. So I'll just take my other piece of net and just wrap that over the edge. So that's the net pinned in place and I can now stitch that. I'm going to just stitch quite close to this edge here, so I want to be making sure that the net's held in place on both sides. I don't want to stitch too close to the edge for fear of missing the bit underneath. And then I'm just going to do it by eye because I haven't really got anything that I can measure. I'm going to just trim the excess net off once I've finished. And then I can repeat that on the other side. Okay, so that's the net attached then to both sides, and that's the net bound seam complete. So I'll just finish off by using the pinking shears to trim the edges, and then that can go into my file.